one of you verily is like nutfatan fi batni ummihi 40 yawman, 40 days. ثم يكون مثل ذلك مثل ذلك مثل ذلك 40, 40, 40, 120. So the scholars say ثم يبعث الله ملك, then Allah sends an angel, ينفخ فيه الروح, then the soul is blown into the fetus. So anyway, 120 is the. Now there's a slight difference, just the separation between the two. Before 120 is also unlawful. After 120 is also unlawful. But the only difference is that after 120 it's a great sin. It's murder. You're killing. If someone does abortion, or the medic does the abortion, or someone asks to do the abortion, a Muslim medic can't. You have to say sorry. I don't know how you can do that legally, etc. I mean, I've talked to doctors and they've talked about different issues. Maybe what you can. So far, what I know is legally you can say on ethical grounds, I don't want to do abortion, but you can direct him to somebody else. You might have to just do that. You have to do that in like a implicit way. Don't tell them all the details. That yeah, this was the best, and this is how your abortion will be done, and all. No, I don't do it. Maybe go in this direction and let someone else do it. So for a Muslim medic, they can't even carry out abortion. So after 120 is killing. You're actually a killer, a murderer, this person, and that's why there's like a ghurra, diya. You have to pay money for it. Before 120, and this is bi-ijma' al-muslimin, like consensus of all the Muslims. Isqat al-hamli haramun bi-ijma' al-muslimin. This is all the scholars say this. So it's completely haram and lawful. Now, before 120 is also not permissible. Okay, but the only difference is that it's not murder. Okay, I remember once I gave one of the universities gave a whole 1 hour presentation on this. Going back home, sat in the train. So next to me was a Christian man, just talking to him, how are you, what's happening, how's life, yeah, everything's good, everything's fine, alhamdulillah. And he just said, where are you coming from? I said, I just come from London, where are you going from, I said to him, I had a presentation on abortion. He said, oh, that's interesting, I'm a Christian, I'm very particular. What does Islam say about it? We had a discussion. So then I was telling him about the stages. So, we in Christian, we don't have those stages, like whether it's after 10 days or after that. Sin is a sin, Sin is a sin. And it's true, what he said was true. Like, this doesn't mean, okay, it's greater sin, lesser sin, I mean what? Allah will punish less, more, punishment is punishment. So, but then I explained to him, I said, yeah, the difference is from this angle, that when does it become lawful, then that's where it makes a difference. Because genuine, like we said, situations of need and necessity allow prohibitions to become permissible. So now, if it's after 120 days, then it's absolutely, categorically, totally never justified to carry out an abortion in any way, shape or form. Any excuse will not validate or legitimize or permissive or give permission to abortion. No excuse. There's only one issue, which I think we were talking about. There's only one circumstance, but the scholars are undecided. There's two opinions on this. In my book, I've mentioned both of their opinions with their evidences. When medically the mother's life is certainly in danger. Medically. A group of medics say, either you live or your child lives. Choose. The majority opinion and the precautious opinion is actually, even in this case, no. We live in the hands of Allah. This case medically, it's nothing 100%. This is a living human being in the stomach. Some scholars said, yes, this is an opinion also, somebody can follow this opinion, that look, if it's a group of medical experts are saying medically that if you give birth, then you will die, then only in that one exceptional case will it be permissible. You rather save the mother's life than a child, because the mother is establishing life, she's a mother, she's a wife, she's got children. This is a still unborn child, hasn't come into the world. So, you save the mother rather than the child. But the more preferred opinion is that even in that case, no. You go ahead with the pregnancy. If she has to die, she dies, and that's the time written for her. Okay? So that's after 120 days, after the soul has been brought into the fetus. Before 120 days, that's the difference. Before 120 days, if there are genuine cases of need, then Islam does allow. The mother's life being in danger, that's one reason. Perfectly fine, it's permissible. When we say permissible, that doesn't mean you must go or you must advocate or you must encourage. Somebody might say, no, pregnancy is 20 days, regardless of what the reason is. I don't want to go ahead with abortion. Fine, no problem. That's very good. Don't do abortion at all. Whatever the reason, no problem. because I had this discussion with some non-Muslim friends, and they were saying that but then isn't this encouraging? I said no, not encouraging. Actually, no problem. Islam is not saying that before 120 days encouraging abortion because of what? Excuses. No, it gives you this leeway, gives you this rukhsa, gives you this concession that the mother's life is in danger. And these excuses are two types. Those affecting the mother, like for example, constitutes a danger to the mother's physical health, mother's even sometimes mental health. Yeah, big issue. She's already a Muslim woman who's got 45 kids already. But she's already got a football team. Yeah? People don't think, they bring a football team into and then they get depressed. Think about it from beforehand. Can you look after 10 kids or 8 kids or 5 kids? If you can't, there's nothing wrong. Contraception is generally permissible. Yes, go ahead.
Very quick question there. Would you just elaborate about, in this case, morning after pill?
Okay.
Does that fall into less than 120 days, or since we don't know whether there is life form or not?
So let me just finish this and I will come to that. So some excuses, mother's mental health, etc. Pregnancy due to rape as well, permissible. Not zina. Pregnancy due to zina, there's no justification for abortion. What sin has the unborn baby done in the stomach, or the soon-to-be born baby in the stomach of a woman, that her mother and some other man, they committed sin and you're going to kill somebody else? You did your zina, live with your zina, why killing somebody else? There's nothing wrong with this child who's coming out of wedlock. The child is not dirty, filthy. A man and woman committed adultery, zina, and a woman became pregnant and gave birth. There's nothing impure with her. This could be a shaykh of the time. People make the word of zina like a what do you call it? Swear word. It's not. So zina will never justify it. Rape, yes, because. And again, I will say each individual case. Sometimes these are general guidelines. Sometimes you can't. Sometimes there might be a case of zina, but it's like more like rape. So each individual, there was a case where 18, 17-year-old maybe seduced into something and she's not thinking it's like a zina, but and how can she live with this? She's still not even in life, anything. So maybe each case will have to be taken. Maybe scholars will look at that, study, look at her mental health, etc. So maybe it's better sometimes someone leaving, somebody rather commit suicide or have abortion, and abortion. This is before, it's only been 10 days, for example. And if she goes ahead, she might have abortion. So each individual case will be taken separately. And then some other excuses are those that affect the child. So if, again, not necessary, but if there is a need, just looking at the time, if there's a need, and the medical experts, their opinion is that this child will be born with severe genetic diseases, illnesses, and it's going to be undue, absolutely, it's going to suffer for 10 years and then just die anyway, just suffer, make the parents suffer and all of that. And in those cases as well, provided it's still, all of the conditions before 120 days. So before 120 days, there are certain times and when certain reasons may permit. The brother was talking about morning after pill. This is actually an offshoot. That's in the middle of contraception and abortion. Morning after pill, generally with contraception, the ruling is that all the contraceptions are allowed generally, as long as it's not long term. It's not like you're just doing it for a particular time. But generally those that work mainly when it stops pregnancy, because there's two ways pregnancy stops. The egg being fertilized by the sperm. And number two, after the egg has been fertilized, then preventing that fertilized egg from going and planting itself in the womb. Now, all these contraceptive methods, if they work in both ways, they can either stop it before the sperm reaches the egg, stop, or even after that, both ways 50-50, they are all generally fine. But with the morning after pill, after investigation, research, and what scholars discovered was that in the main, the morning after pill, it's not stopping what? Fertilization, it's stopping implantation. So therefore, because it's stopping that, therefore it should not be allowed. Now, whether it's abortion or not, there's a debate. Because I spoke to a Christian man as well about this. He said even in Christianity we have a debate, because it's just, when do you call someone pregnant? Is it, after implantation, what point, what stage? So, but anyway, Islamically the ruling is that morning after pill, emergency contraception is the absolute first stage of abortion. It's the first stage of abortion. So it will not be allowed. Same rule will apply as the abortion before 120 days. I would also say one other thing, that out of those 120 days, out of those 120 days, there's a difference between day 1 and 120 and 19th day. There's a difference between day 1 and 119th. Of course, there's a difference logically. So the more you go towards 120, the more the strict it becomes, the more reasons, proper reasons you need justifications. If it's day 1 and maybe it's not that genuine case, but it is a case, but it's just yesterday pregnancy, it's day 1, so maybe you could allow it. Day 2, you need to be more strict. Day 3, it's been 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it depends on the stage of pregnancy. Yeah,
same question that follows on. To prescribe it, do we have evidence to say we're ethically not going to prescribe it?
Now,
somebody comes asking for it, that's what
no, I've actually talked about this in my book. I've talked about emergency contraception, I've talked about selling it, prescribing in pharmacy. Generally with pharmacy is that Islamically, people can prescribe, sell anything that has halal use to it and haram use to it. I've got a shop, somebody's going to, knife, that is a bad example, but I want to say Muslims using knives, it's a bad example. But I'm saying knife. Somebody said, come on, I want to buy this knife. The guy might go and stab someone, or might go and cut an apple. Is it halal use to haram use? I don't need to investigate. Tell me, are you going to stab someone? Or are you going to cut a banana or an apple? No. That's not my duty. Anything that has two usages, two types of halal as well as haram use to it, we can just sell, prescribe, whatever, and the onus is on the other person. So, like for example, emergency contraception. We said in a medical need case it is permissible. So technically speaking, yes, it is. It won't be haram because you could just assume maybe it's a medical need. But still, precaution that if you know more or less. I'm not asking, but come on, 99% this is not a medical need. In that case, you should try to avoid prescribing. Now, I don't know how you can legally, can you say no or not, whatever. Like people ask, can I sell condoms? Pharmacy sells that. People, can I sell it? One brother asked me, can I sell in my news agents or my petrol station, gas station, all these condoms? I said, look, what? Husband, wife. Husband's buying it. You just think they're all married. But he said, no, I know because, especially when I'm working, it's Friday night, Saturday night, they're coming, I know what's happening, basically. So I said, look, technically speaking, it's allowed. You don't know, you don't ask, you don't say, are you married, are you, in a marriage, or are you doing zina? You don't need to ask, just give it, take it, whatever. But if you feel ethically, then it's better to wait. So that's just quickly with abortion, inshallah. But I told you, with abortion, there's lots of things. I have articles on my website which you can read for free. And if you want to buy my book, then that's even better, it's more detailed. There'll be some books in Arabic, there's written things, lots of things written in Arabic as well, lots of things here and there you could find, inshallah. Abortion is a very lengthy topic. I don't think we have time to go into so many different things. IVF, just 3 minutes on IVF. Okay? So we need to finish by 8:30. We have to finish everything by 8:30, 8:35, 8:40 maximum. My flight is at 10 o'clock. I'm flying back at 10 o'clock. You can delay the flight. Delay the flight? I can delay the flight, but I can't be delayed. You see, I need to get back. That's fine. I have to go back home. I've got things in the morning. I've got some programs in London tomorrow evening as well, so that's fine. IVF, I'll just tell you the absolute summary of IVF. In vitro fertilization, anything to do with IVF. Artificial insemination, surrogacy, everything, just put everything into one pot to do with that topic. The general principle is that due to need, first of all, Muslims, they believe that giving children, granting children is the hand of Allah. يَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ إِنَاثًا وَيَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ ذُكُورًا وَيُزَوِّجُهُمْ ذُكْرَانًا وَإِنَاثًا وَيَجْعَلُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ عَقِيمًا. Now this is the side of the Quran I'm going into. But the Quran says Allah keeps some people barren. You know, it's as normal to have no children as it is normal to have children. Don't think it's a defect. It is as normal. Like this other day, last week or something, this sister, she called me and she's getting depressed because she just keeps saying, you know, daughters. I said, that's a blessing. She's getting depressed because she doesn't have daughters. Somebody came to Imam Ahmed bin Hanbal. Radiallahu anhu, and said, I only have daughters. He said, be happy. Al-Anbiya'u aba'ul banat. All the prophets were fathers of daughters. So it is normal, as normal to have just male children, as normal to just have female children, as normal to have twins, as normal to have no children. There's nothing defect. Our society makes it a defect. Oh brother, how long have you been married? Come on, 6 years brother. That's a good news. Mind your business. No, seriously, these are bad habits. You know, you've been married 5 years, come on, what have you been doing? It's wrong. You know, people go to weddings and things like that, and where's your children, how come you have no children? It's completely wrong. I won't say haram, but it's dislike. It's not right in Islam. People asking people, being nosy and asking people questions, why do you have children, or when are you going to have children? You know, you should say, why do you have 2 children for? Why? You know. Come on, you know, why do you have 2 for? Why not 6? How many children do you have? I have 2 sons and 2 daughters. Why 2 sons and 2 daughters? You should have, why not 4 daughters and 4 sons? So why? So people should not be nosy, you know. I remember there's one sister who was nearly suicidal because both the husband and wife, I sat with them for so long, and she said, look, we are content, we're so happy as a married couple, but they're like, it's going to divorce because the family is putting pressure, making them feel guilty because she can't give birth to children. Then say, oh, is it his fault? He said, we're going to check. I said, don't even go and check whose fault it is. If you want to do treatment or something, that's fine. But if you want to start saying, oh, it's his fault, like last week, one sister asked me, can I ask divorce from my husband because we checked it, it's his fault. I said, are you crazy? Like, she wants divorce because, you know, it's like, this is not a defect. So it's like, you know, can I ask divorce because my husband's got black hair? You know, I wanted him to have, he's got brown eyes, I wanted him to have blue eyes. That's why. Can I ask for divorce? It's exactly like that. You can't ask for a divorce just because your husband can't give you children. And likewise, the husband should not divorce his wife because his wife can't bear children. It's not a defect. But, given all of that, that's another topic. But if somebody wants to have children and, you know, psychologically, etc., they really want children, then yes, medical treatments are permissible. One principle covers everything. As long as only the husband and wife are involved, that's it. There's no way, shape, there's form, and there is no doubt in the fact that somebody else is involved, whether the sperm, whether the egg, whether the, you know, whatever. Donor, you know, you have this AIM and AID and artificial insemination, donor, whatever. Only the husband and wife. Anything else is haram and is actually zina. Scholars have considered zina. There's a hadith that says Allah's curse is on the one who plants his seed in, you know, somewhere else. Basically, it's a hadith. I don't know exactly what it's called right now. So only the husband and wife are involved, and there's absolute clarity. There is no doubt in the fact that only the husband and wife are involved. Then whether it's in vitro, whether it's test tube or in vitro or whichever way format, as long as strictly speaking only husband and wife is used.
And it's not include surrogacy.
No. Yeah. So that rules out surrogacy altogether, because surrogacy, you're borrowing, renting the womb of another woman. Actually, surrogacy is even worse, because, you know, the Quran says, you know, the question comes in surrogacy, who's the mother? The Quran says, you know, the ones that give birth, they're the mothers. If you use another woman, it's not allowed. If somebody did do that, then technically the woman who gave birth is hers, even though it's your husband's sperm and your whatever eggs, but it's technically, Islamically, it's their baby. Okay, and So therefore, surrogacy is a discussion that, things like this, that's the main, but then there's separate rulings, like if you can try to get treated, because this is not a genuine medical need. This is not like a proper, it's not like, you need an operation because you're something which is not in your control, like a health need. So therefore the rules are slightly strict. Therefore a male, his aura should only be examined or, by a male, and a female should only be treated or, by a female medical practitioner, etc. Unless you can't, but generally, there's a whole fiqh of male and female treatment as well. There's a fiqh behind that as well. That's a whole topic. I've got an article on that as well. Fiqh of male, female medical treatment, whatever. So, but especially in this case, because it's not like a genuine medical need. It's something you want, you want children basically, which is very important. So we're doing organ donation, IVF adoption, abortion, yeah. Yeah, going Q&A. Okay, inshallah. We were doing so Q&A. So, go on, inshallah. I think we'll stop there. Yeah, we can go. We've got about 20 minutes, inshallah. Yeah. Go ahead. Sorry, just speak a bit loudly.
I have one question.
Yeah.
I just want to ask about, I'm a medical student. I have to deal with like post-mortem and also like labor. Sometimes, like what you said just now, the dead body is kind of a minor. And to what extent we can live through that labor? Because sometimes, we kind of playing around with it. And so, because before this, if I go to funeral, looking at that body, it's remind me of that. But this time, when it's every day, my heart becomes desensitized. So, what is your comment about it?
I don't really understand your question, but from what I've understood, with post-mortems, generally the ruling, and that was one of the topics, post-mortems, again, because of human body being sacred and honored, and you have to honor it. Generally, post-mortems are not allowed in Islam, and that's why as Muslims they try utmost best to avoid it. But if it becomes a genuine need, legally you're required by the law because it's a criminal case or whatever, then because of necessity, Islam will allow it because you have to do it because it's legally you have to get it. Also, sometimes what happens. I think the Jewish community they have this. They invest. We invest a lot of money in making massive masjids. They invest in some sometimes more important things. Masjids are important as well, but sometimes we like to decorate them more. They this post-mortem like machines, whatever, scanning things. Yeah. In England, the Jewish community, it costs like 25,000 or something, but it's a community thing. Massive scanning, like there's no record, because a lot of these laws between Islam and Judaism are very similar. Circumcision, with halal food, stunning, same things. So they are very particular about post-mortem as well. And they've got this, like, you'll have the scan and everything will be done and there's no cut. Muslims should be doing that. If you can do that, then I think it's fun to do that and spend less money on decorating the masjid. Yes, sister.
I don't know if sister meant dissection. Do you mean in anatomy? Yes.
I mean post-mortem, it means like in anatomy, like when we're learning about the body muscles and blood vessels and stuff.
Yeah.
We, in RCSI, we have cadaveric dissection. So, I mean, it's for learning purposes. And if it wasn't done in the first place, we would never have known about the body. So. Yeah,
this is another topic altogether as well. Actually, on this, there are some scholars who are very strict with it. They say that, look, you can't really dissect on human bodies. All of these things, you can do it. Before I answer that, there's another thing I should remember, which is connected, is that people, whichever opinion they take, they need to be consistent. So if somebody thinks the opinion that I follow, the haram opinion, then giving and taking, both haram. Okay? And say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to donate. If I need it, where's the organs? Bismillah, Allah. So be consistent. If somebody follows the opinion halal, then both sides they should be. And then this is not a Muslim, non-Muslim, no. It's not. restricted to Muslims and non-Muslims. Permissible is halal. Some scholars have said it's preferable, but it's nothing like hand is a hand. So that's that, inshallah. Anything else?
Can I just mention something about the organ donation? Some of the European countries have introduced a new law because there's lack of people donating organs. You're a donor unless proven otherwise. Are we allowed to follow that rule? So if we don't know, they take it as they are donors. So we don't have consent to donation from these people.
Yeah, basically you have to opt out. You have to opt out.
You have to opt out, and are we allowed to proceed on, or has that been?
No, scholars have discussed that. I mean, I know this case came in, we looked at it from a lot of times. When it's better not to have those things, those laws. We should try to avoid. We should try to campaign against it. People should be free choice what they want to do. We shouldn't make it too normal. But even if that becomes a law, then educate people that you have a choice to opt out. So people should be clearly opting out if they want to. If they don't want to, if they don't feel, if they don't want, so either way, it's not a problem. But if it's better, preferable to campaign for that law not to take. Is that the law here in Ireland there?
For the time being, yes, that's the law here.
So at least you have an option of opting out. But people should be educated that you have to opt out. Have a Jumu'ah khutbah, tell people, yeah, you're a nurse, inna hunaka opt out. Yeah, sister down there.
So in xenograph, sometimes they give you an option, like we can give you a plastic one, like a synthetic one, but it's not as good as the pig heart valve or like another bovine heart. What do you do with that?
No, it's permissible because the need is not, I mean, if your function, etc., is it's not going to be as good, of course. But if you think that most of it, all your function, your needs, your necessities, will be fulfilled with the plastic, then you should opt for that first and foremost. Because the condition is very strict, but unless there's a genuine need. So if you think that it's not really need, it's just more, it's just going to be more sort of flexible, it's just going to make it more better. The needs are fulfilled, but it's just a bit more, what's that word I'm looking for? More comforting or more, that's not the right word as well. But you understand what I'm trying to say. So, if the needs are fulfilled, but it's just making it a bit better, then in that case you need to avoid it. Any brothers, anybody? Yeah, just do that.
What's the Islamic ruling for giving up your body for medicine?
Giving up for medicine to get it dissected and all that. There'll be strict rulings on that because, as I said, with organ donation, there's just been no matter Khan's coming, with organ donation, there's rules, whether it's permissible or not permissible. So with that, there would be a lot of strictness on that. I'm not going to say it's totally haram, etc., because a lot of these issues you can have different opinion. But I would say that at the moment it's best avoided, not permissible. But I don't know the exact detailed rulings about it, so I'm not going to say anything unless I know it clearly. But I would say no until it's clearly proven that yes, it's permissible. Yes, brother.
Earlier you said you have to be consistent with the ruling. So if it's not really permissible, surely it shouldn't be permissible to learn on cadavers. Because you said you can't give up your body, you can't donate your body to scientists and for people, to medical students or whatever, to learn for research.
No. Okay, consistent. I was talking about organ donation.
Okay, but that doesn't.
Here, say that again. So what I saying?
Basically, it means if we are not allowed to donate bodies for science, why are we allowed to?
So that would be the same consistent thing there. Here, okay, I understand. You're right. If somebody follows that, it won't be allowed for me to give my bodies. Then yes, from a consistent, ethical, moral perspective, you shouldn't be cutting people's, other people's bodies. You don't want your body. So that's right.
Yeah, and just to follow up on that. So, for example, if you didn't think it was permissible to dissect, would it be okay for you to stand back and watch the dissection occur and learn?
Yeah, that would be okay. Yeah, that would be okay. That would be flexible. I mean,
it's going to happen anyway.
Yeah. Because you're not being the cause or a means. You see, you're not. لا تعاونوا على الإثم والعدوان. You're not a means. It's not there because you're standing. It's happening. You see, to be a part of something which you think is haram, to be a cause, that's تسبب إلى المعصية, being a means to a sin. That's here they are. Yeah.
I know you said before that having children is, a gift from Allah. I was wondering, is there any particular view on using contraception during marriage for family planning purposes?
Is there any? Repeat that last sentence.
Is there any specific views on the use of contraception within a marriage for family planning purposes?
Whether it's allowed or not contraception? Yeah. Is that what you're asking?
Sorry?
Is there? Repeat that. I didn't know. You've got a very Caribbean accent. I have to get used to it. I'm actually going to Syria in 2 weeks' time, so I'm doing my practice from now. Go speak well. I'm going to spend 5 days with the brothers down there. 5-6 days. I've got quite a few programs. It's just in 2 weeks' time, so I'm dreading it. So I'm not going to understand. Sorry, we're joking, sister. Go ahead. Did you understand what you said? Okay, just repeat again. Is there any?
I want to know what's the view on family planning, the use of contraception.
Okay, okay, that's fine. Yeah, basically, what's the Islamic perspective on contraception? As I mentioned earlier, that this is a lengthy topic, but the general ruling is that birth control contraception is generally allowed, with a bit of dislike, as long as there's a few things. Number one, it's not long-term, so you can't use long-term contraceptive methods. You can't do a sterilization operation. You call it tubectomy, vasectomy, these. You can't permanently sterilize yourself. That's haram. Okay? But if it's temporary methods, whatever the method may be, the pill, excluding the emergency contraception, but the pill, the condom, injection, now you have those implants, patches, all methods, as long as they work in both ways, preventing pregnancy before fertilization and after fertilization, all of them are generally allowed, generally permissible. And if you have a reason, even a small reason, then they're all allowed with a bit of slight dislike. The slight dislike, if there's no need, then it's dislike, it's halal, the dislike. But if you have any reason, like you want to space them, children out, to give them support, look after them well, then even the dislike goes away, it's perfectly fine. As long as your intention is not un-Islamic. Un-Islamic would be fear of poverty. It's like, you're fearing, if I have 3-4 children, where am I going to get the money from, and how am I going to feed them? Allah says, وَمَا مِن دَابَةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِلَّا عَلَى اللَّهِ رِزْقُهَا. Rizq is in the hands of Allah. So the fear of rizq and poverty, that's haram. Yeah, giving them attention, time, that's fine. I want to make tarbiyah. I don't want a football team, I want a good team that wins the Premier League. I don't want any football team, that's the end of the problem with the league. So you want to give them proper time and, spend time, give them good education, especially in this day and age, it's very difficult. People are too busy, we have so many children, one's on drugs, and one's there, and one's doing this, and one's that. No, seriously. So giving them time, giving quality time, spend time with the children. I know you don't have children right now, maybe you do, some of you. But spend time, parents must, fathers and mothers, should spend every day, don't work, especially the profession you're going into. I have a really good friend, he lives in Manchester, he's a medic, he's a doctor, he's working, he's a really good friend of mine. He's my personal doctor, so like a friend doctor. And he tells me, I see his lifestyle, it's very hectic. Medics, it's very hectic. But still, he will make sure that nothing comes between his time and his children's time. He's a mashallah, very good practicing brother. He's actually studied Islam, he went to Egypt, studied a couple of years in Egypt as well, so he studied some Islamic sciences. So, therefore, very important that we give them adequate times. If that's the case, then it's perfectly permissible. But what's not allowed is three things are not allowed, basically. Long-term permanent contraception, you can say 4 things. Emergency, pill contraception. The intention is if fear of poverty. And number 4, this is all allowed on an individual basis, not collective. To go on a collective, population control like in China, that's haram. Islam says, individually it's allowed, but you don't start an organization that says, everybody should have 2.5 children, etc. That's in China. 2.5. You can't. Okay. Anything else? Anything? This is quite strange. I was just talking to my friend. I just got a text. The same friend, doctor, just texted me right now. And he doesn't normally text me. I haven't had a text from him in 6 months. I talked about it right now. He texted me right now. Yes.
Can I get your view about pulling out oxygen supply for those?
Sorry.
Can I get your view about pulling out oxygen supply for those with brain death?
Pulling out oxygen supply for?
Yeah. For those for brain death patients.
End of life.
Yeah.
From death patients.
Yeah.
From brain death.
End of life.
Okay. Yeah, but that's a whole topic. I was going to talk about that, this brain death issue. I don't know how much time. I will have to explain. I think it will be difficult to, because I've actually got, on there's a whole PowerPoint presentation I've got. I actually got it as well, I thought. It's a whole, I've got slides on it.
Can you share it with us later?
I could do. I'll send it to you. Okay, and then you can have a look at it. It's like different scenarios when, how brains. When is death? That's the main point, because the Quran says, Islam says, and the Quran also says, but when the ruh soul comes out, there's no clear, there's no specific way of knowing when the ruh comes out. Classically, from the Salaf time, the early Muslims, they used to just look at signs. The eyes, your legs are relaxed, or your gasp, your lips. They say this is a sign. Nobody knows. So we're just looking at signs. So Muslim scholars are also looking at signs. What is considered dead? What is that period when someone's considered to be dead? So different opinions. Some say full brain dead. Some say brain stem death, etc., etc. Even if the heart is beating. So there's different. So I've got a whole slides. Lengthy, I'll show you. Email it to you. Just keep it within yourself. Don't put it anywhere on the internet. That's the condition. Okay? It's not for publishing on the internet. If it's just for you guys. Yeah.
I just have a question about organ donor cards, and also about different fatwas. Can we pick the one that suits us, makes our life easier?
Organ donation cards is the same question as the brother down there, I think, the opt-out, etc. Yeah, so what do you mean?
Like in Ireland, I thought it was opt-in. So basically, if you want to donate your organs, for example, in case of a road traffic accident and you die, you have healthy organs. So they're in need of.
In Ireland, you have to opt in.
Yeah.
No, it is opt-in.
It's opt-in. I was talking about
It's opt-in.
in other European countries, if ever they bring that in, that's what.
Yeah. No, in Ireland it's opt-in, but in our.
Yeah, so this depends. If you think it's allowed, then you can have it. It's just basically which ruling you follow. Now, I will mention this. I didn't mention that there's 2 rulings. One is the clear and lawful one, general, and some allowed. There's actually some scholars who are completely in the middle. Like one of my teachers, you might have heard of his name, Shaykh. He's very well renowned, and his opinion is that's I'm in the middle. Tawaqquf. Like I can't. I've seen evidences on this side and this side. I don't know which. I'm not satisfied from a which one I can prefer. But it's perfectly fine. You can follow whichever one, as long as you can see. If you think this is fine, and as I said, majority do say it's allowed, so no problem. You can follow that, and if you follow that, then you can have the.
And it's the same for the fatwa, like whatever one.
No, with the fatwa issue, it just depends. I wouldn't say generally like anything, or it just depends. It's a lengthy topic. I can't really. It just depends. Look. It's like doctors. You guys are all medics. Yeah. If I go to him, ask him, he tells me one thing. I go to him. I'm not going to just take. Okay, he told me to have a sweet one. He told me a bitter one. And he said a sweet one. Or he told me no operation. He said operation. No operation. So it doesn't work exactly the same with fatwa as well. First of all, I shouldn't be going to do you. I should be just having like, you know, 1 or 2 people I trust. Okay, how do I trust them? I'm not an expert, but I can still tell. You know, I've got intelligence. I've got akal. Allah's given me akal. I will know. I'm not a medic, but you're not a medic. Me and you, we will know. We know because, mashallah, you can tell the brain and he's so even if you're not an expert, you can tell. You know, you can understand. You've got a bit of intelligence of Quran, Hadith, etc. These, you know, by reading someone's literature, someone's teachings. So different shuyukhs of different parts of the world. Once you kind of have trust in 1 or 2 people, then you generally say go to them all the time, whatever they say, whether you like it or not. This is how it is. So like you have doctors, you don't go and pick and choose. You know, stick to some people who you trust. إن هذا الأمر دين فلينظر أحدكم عمن يأخذ دينه. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu anhu said this, Ibn Sirin said this. This is a matter of deen. Be very careful who you take your religion from.
We'll take the last question.
Sorry, quick question. Only because I'm from Kuwait and I've heard, and you mentioned that permanent contraception is haram, whether it was a vasectomy or was it a tubal ligation for the female. Is it allowed in certain circumstances, like if the couple already have 10 children or more or something like that?
It is allowed only in medical cases, not if you have 10 children, but in a absolute, like for example, I don't know about 10, but you know, if someone's had about 4, 5, 6 cesareans, and now the doctor says, the medical experts, their opinion is that any more your life is in danger, or that kind of situation. So medical health-wise, yeah, very big response. But as I said, if you can, inshallah, order my book. I think it's available somewhere. Some bookshops might have it. It's called Birth Control and Abortion in Islam. Just type my name in, Muhammad ibn Adam, and you'll find it. It's 80 pages. It's got abortion, all of this, inshallah.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you have your website, please?
Sorry?
Your website?
Website is www.darulifta.com.
Thank you very much, Sheikh Muhammad, for your time, and really thank you for spending some time coming over from the UK to Dublin. And inshallah, we hope this is not the last time we see you. And I hope you have a safe trip. And to everyone who came over here tonight, we'd really like to thank you very much. And we hope you do well in your studies and the exams at the end of the course. Have a good day. What's the rest of it? And see you ala khair, inshallah.